We just published the data from the TROPICS04 trial with Professor Pauls and other colleagues at Annals of Oncology. This was a randomized phase 3 trial evaluating sacituzumab govitecan at the dose of 10 milligram per kilogram on day 1 and day 8 on a 3-week cycle, compared to taxane, single agent, or vinflunine in Europe in a phase 3 trial design, trying to validate the results of the TROPHY-U01 cohort 1 phase 2 trial that led to the accelerated approval of sacituzumab govitecan back in April 2021 because it showed that sacituzumab govitecan, let's call it SG, had a promising response rate of 28% in patients after multiple prior therapies, after platinum-based chemotherapy, after checkpoint inhibition. And that phase 2 trial, again, TROPHY-U01 cohort 1, it was about 113 patients, and the toxicity profile of the study in phase 2 showed neutropenia, diarrhea were common side effects, but they were manageable. So based on those phase 2 data, there was an accelerated approval of sacituzumab govitecan in this patient population after prior therapies. So the TROPICS04 trial, as I mentioned before, tried to validate these results and try to see whether there is overall survival advantage with SG versus taxane or vinflunine. In this trial, the TROPICS04, we had patients with a similar characteristics after prior therapies. There was no limit in the number of prior therapies. Patients should have received prior platinum-based chemotherapy and checkpoint inhibition. Patients could have received enfortumab vedotin. It was not mandatory, but it was allowed as a prior therapy. And of course, patients were followed over time for overall survival as the primary endpoint. The eligibility criteria were defined in the Annals of Oncology publication. I want to point out that growth factor as primary prophylaxis was not mandated in the study, and only approximately 20% of patients, 1 out of 5, actually got primary prophylaxis with growth factor. And I think that was a relevant point. The study, TROPICS04, did not meet the primary endpoint of overall survival. There was a numerical difference favoring sacituzumab govitecan over taxane or vinflunine, but this did not reach statistical significance.